Hello and welcome to Exam Revision, and today's video is going to look at equilibrium, disequilibrium and the black market, all in relation to supply and demand. So today's learning intentions are that we are going to explain what equilibrium is, we're going to explain what disequilibrium is, and we're going to explain the impact that the black market can have on price. Okay, so equilibrium is the price point where the quantity supplied will match the quantity demanded, okay? So it's the point at which the quantity supplied will match the quantity demanded. And if a product reaches equilibrium, that's a good thing because it means that at this certain price, the sellers are able to sell everything that they want of a product or service. So everything that they're able to produce, they're able to sell. And also buyers are also able to buy this product all that they want as well. So it's that perfect sweet spot where supply and demand meet together, okay? The sellers are happy because they're able to produce and distribute and supply everything that they would like to, and the buyers also have enough money and are able to afford to buy the product up to the amount that they would like. And when you plot the supply and demand curves on the same axis, that's when you see equilibrium. So we'll have a look at that now. And as we can see here from this diagram, we can see that in this diagram, supply is equal to demand. So if we look at this example, we can see that at this point here, demand and supply are meeting together. And in this example, we can see that at this point, the price is €4 and the quantity demanded is 200. And at this point, at that price is when the supply and the demand intersect. So when it's being sold for €4, the suppliers are able to supply lots of it. They're able to supply 200 of it, and the demand is also at 200. So it's that perfect sweet spot where the suppliers don't have too much left over, and also where the buyers, where the demand are also able to buy all it is that they require of that product. And the next thing that we will look at now is disequilibrium. And disequilibrium occurs when there's excess supply or excess demand. And this means that the market will not be in an equilibrium position. But it's important to note as well that usually when disequilibrium takes place, that the interaction of supply and demand actually usually begins to create what are called market pressures. And these market pressures force the market back down or back up into equilibrium. And the way this happens is that, for example, sellers may reduce production levels. So they might reduce the amount that they are producing. Sellers might also reduce the price in order for them to be able to sell more goods. But if they reduce the price, this will increase demand. So that will push demand up. And when this happens, equilibrium will be reached. So usually when disequilibrium takes place, interaction takes place between the sellers and the suppliers and the quantity demanded. And what usually happens is that sellers will usually either reduce production levels or reduce price, and this in turn will increase demand, and therefore equilibrium will be reached. And in the same way, when demand is greater than supply, sellers then can afford to charge a higher price because they know that some buyers will be willing to spend more to make sure that they get the item. So if their product becomes really, really popular, well then what they will do is they can increase their price because they know that some buyers will then be willing to spend more to make sure that they will get the item. And again, then equilibrium will take place. So the last thing that we will look at is the black market. And to introduce this concept, we're just going to use this cartoon. So as you can see, we have two snowmen talking to one another, and this is known as the black market snowman nose market. Okay, and the reason why that is relevant is because what the black market is that when demand is greater than supply, sellers can afford to charge a higher price because they know that some buyers will be willing to spend more to make sure that they get the item. Okay, so that's okay when when the seller is an authorized official seller. But what sometimes happens is that it can lead to this scenario can lead to the development of the black market. And examples of the black market would be when concert tickets or tickets to sporting events are sold illegally. So what happens here is that, say if there was a big concert that lots of people wanted to attend, and the amount of people that wanted to go to the concert was greater than the supply, so the demand for the tickets was greater than the supply of the tickets, well then the people who are selling the tickets can afford to charge a higher price because they know that some of the buyers will be willing to spend extra money just to make sure that they get the item. So if the tickets for this concert were €60 and they all sold out, well then what a seller can do is they could sell it on the black market. They could sell it illegally, and they could sell it maybe for €80 or €100, and they know that this will still get bought because the demand is so high. So that's an example of the black market, and it's an example of what can happen if demand is greater than supply. Okay, so thanks a million for tuning in today. Hopefully this video improved your knowledge on equilibrium, disequilibrium, and the black market. Our learning intentions for today was to be able to explain what equilibrium is, and we know that that is the point at which supply meets demand. We said we would be able to explain what disequilibrium is, and we know that that is when supply does not perfectly meet demand. And finally, we said we'd be able to explain the impact that the black market can have on price, and we know that that can increase the price of certain goods. So as I said, thanks a million for tuning in today. Please make sure to stay up to date with all of our social medias for more information. Thanks again, and have a nice day.